Kamikaze mad at somebody on this motherfucker. So wrong. You don't wrong. So wrong. Don't you go fix me up. I don't want to go get back. You don't wrong. So wrong. So wrong. Eyes up to the cloud looking for a better day. Head full of stress, need another place for my head to lay. They wanted wrong shit. I'm about to give it to him. Came up with a boss bitch. She can fly, sit in the living room. So ain't no time to crack. Time to get it out. And this was part of the plot. I was just feeling the back. Cut from another club. And the whole of the vesture. Yeah, I'm all thick. Check the color and text. Get it talking and whisper. Look how wrong you are. They know that I'm hit. I deserve all of this. Strive for heaven first. I outlived all the people. My next thing here die with when the trouble comes down long. When I run for the back, you gon' do me fast. Go take my class. Go XD out. Don't do what I hurt. I'm back. But the stuff just cat. Go do me like that. And the one gon' get back. You don't wrong. So wrong. You don't wrong. So wrong. Don't you go XD out. And the one gon' get back. You don't wrong. So wrong. So wrong. Some real shit, and I ain't fucking with these rappers on some real shit. Trying to stack old chips on some sale shit. Uprising in the priest that he fell quick. People running in the dark like the prayer witch. I'm true to this shit and I can't switch. Leave him shaking like he trying to get that paint fixed. I'm going hard in the paint, bitch. Say he a god, but he ain't shit. He just impersonating. Full of that dope, you're hurting nature. Puffing that smoke, he ain't a gangster. Now it's time to expose you. Time to show you how a real soldier roll through. Coming when it comes, let it hold you. Praised by mighty men, it's how they mold you. Heart dumping like Pro Tools. I ain't nothing but the truth, boy, I told you. Style cold in the kid, cold blue, fresh like Chucky in the truth, but the dope move, nigga. Running, get the team, take his land like the old Mr. Soul Food. I'm just trying to run my fingers up. Don't fuck, cause the Simmons up. Clean tough, but that ain't enough. Listen, to be quite clear, bitch, I'm school like a light bill. These niggas dead, I beat light bill. I'm going up like a light bill. Cause I'm just trying to get a buzz like my last name Lightyear. Send a message to the masses, I'm fortified. I'm about to trade in my 9 for a 45. I'm killing this shit, gotta mortify. U.P.K. we up, got the other side to moralize. Them niggas nice, but I'm way more superior. He ain't one wet, he don't fit the criteria. Don't take my kindness for weakness. I'm a beast on the interior. These niggas can't be serious. Brave heart, go against the heart. Don't go against the squad, you'll get picked apart. Oh, she say you know God, bitch, don't even start. Then with YAHANNA, I be at the nigga dope like a swinging saw. It's wartime, ain't no need to play. This slow ass nigga, you was never with us anyway. They say I'm going down for the things I say, so I went and got that Glock like you gon' roll with me today. Yeah. It ain't gonna stop. Tell me, boy, it ain't gonna stop. It ain't gonna stop. These niggas weak, must be raised from a poor strain. On top of pleasure, bring more pain. Fuck that soft shit, bring more flame. Straight soldier out the gang. I don't move, that's just for a day. I'm done bullshit, it's time to take them down. If he ain't taking ground, then I'll come around. Soldiers in the back watching as I thunder sound. Tuck it in the wood, I'm just trying to run the underground. And fuck the glass ceiling, they ain't saying nothing. They say 144, how you keep it coming? I told them, fear of the Lord, keep my feet from running. I keep shit right?
You spit it right down there from the water. What?
All right, let's go ahead and clap it up. Let's clap it up. All right, shalom, shalom, Israel. YAHANNA, YAHWH Barak Thumb to the brothers. YAHWH Shamar Thumb Bashim, YAHWH to the sisters. We are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General YAHANNA. We are not affiliated with no other Israelite group or Christian organization. We teach that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the real Jews according to the Bible.
That's right.
And that our oppressor is the devil the Bible speaks of, man. And we call him the devil because he is the absolute most oppressive being on the face of this earth. No other race of people has been so much of a terrorist to the Lord's children. If you didn't know, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are God's holy children, man. If you didn't know that. And because we are his children, there are forces of darkness. I don't want to sound like George Bush or Ronald Reagan, what they say, the axis of evil. Because we are the Lord's children, there are forces of darkness on this earth that seek to cut us off from being a nation. You understand? Let me, because give me Psalms 83 and 3. We're going to start off right there. Tonight is the Monday night history class. I'm Officer of 1000 Kazak Ahmad. This is I.S.U.P.K. DC. I got with me Officer 500 Barak. Officer 50 Bakwasha. As usual, these two brothers always holding down solid with me, man.
Yeah,
these brothers is right and left hand for me, man. Straight them down. But we're going to go into it tonight. The topic for tonight is Nick Cannon, buck breaking, and oppressive emasculation. That's the topic for tonight, man. And I know we've seen in the news recently, a lot of things have been happening so fast. And if you're not really paying attention, you can really miss out on what's going on. One, the biggest thing we noticed is Nick Cannon, Deshaun Jackson, and Will Smith. Those three things have been literally the trending topics on social media. If you didn't know, when Nick Cannon said the real Jews are black and then apologized, he was the #1 trending topic on YouTube. Does anybody know that Will Smith and Jada Pinkett on the Red Talk, when Will Smith was embarrassed and emasculated, they were, now take that back. Nick Cannon was #1 trending on Twitter. Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith were #1 on YouTube. And I brought that up to say this. The oppressor has an agenda to strategically emasculate black men all throughout the media. And we're going to get into it tonight. Let's get the scripture first. Go ahead and read that quote.
This is Psalms 83 and 3. They have taken crafty counsel.
They have what?
They have taken crafty counsel.
The Bible says they have taken crafty counsel, man. What is crafty counsel? Crafty counsel is they have done what dealt with us wisely. Barak, give me that scripture. In Exodus, I believe. The Egyptians, when they said, let us deal with them wisely. Find that for me. Crafty counsel is being slick in how you deal with somebody. It's just like if you have a bully at school and you have a bully and you in 7th grade and your bully is 310 pounds and you weigh 110 pounds. You're not thinking about going toe to toe with him off the top. I mean, some brothers do, but you start to think a little bit more craftier, like, maybe if I hit him in the stomach first, then I can get him to bend over, hit him in the face. You start to get real slick. That's what crafty counsel is. Finding real roundabout ways, slick ways to do things. And the Bible says they have taken crafty counsel. Keep reading.
Against thy people.
Against thy people. When it says thy people, this thy people is only referring to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. If you couldn't tell, we still live in slavery, man. We are still living in oppression. I can't stress it enough, man. UPK always says this, and I remember hearing it when I was in the world. You are still enslaved, black man. And in me in the world, thinking like, shoot, ain't nobody enslaving me. I'm free. I'm free. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Whole time, I'm smoking the drugs of the oppressor. I'm doing the things that America has programmed our people to do, destroying myself. You understand? We are still in slavery in America. And physically, you can't even leave the country without a passport. So we are still in slavery. And because we're in slavery, we have to be subjected to everything that the oppressor and the nations do to us. Meaning, we aren't allowed to defend ourselves. We're not allowed to ask for justice in America. Wanting justice is something that a free man is allowed to do in America. That's why whenever we protest, Black Lives Matter, no justice, no peace.
Right.
We get arrested, we get sprayed with pepper spray, we get shot with rubber bullets because in America, we're not allowed to ask for justice. We're the slaves here. And it's absolutely offensive to America for us, the ones that are on the bottom, to ask for justice. Right. Well, we're in this position because they took crafty counsel against thy people. Keep reading.
And consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
The Bible says they have consulted together and said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, man. That is the ultimate goal of the oppressor of America and of these nations who are in league and allegiance with America. You know, it was the same way in Egypt. You got that scripture, Barak? You need to read that for me, brother.
The book of Exodus, chapter 1, verse 10. Come on, let us deal wisely with them.
Read up 2 verses for the show.
The book of Exodus, chapter 1, verse 8. Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph.
Now, this was referred to when we served in captivity in Egypt. If you didn't know, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the people that are in slavery in America. Were the same people that served in slavery in Egypt. And because of that, it's very important that we look to these records found in the Bible to know what happened in Egypt so we can know what is going to happen in America. We have to look at the Bible and the records in the Bible to know what should we do now in America based off of what we did in Egypt. Because the Lord brought us out of Egypt. He destroyed Egypt to the point where Egypt is a dust bowl today. I heard Commander General YAHANNA tell a story about how he went to Egypt and they were peeing, some Chinese cat was peeing in the pyramid. You know what I'm saying? And we over here talking about Kemet and Amun-Ra and Hotep. And some Moabite is peeing in the pyramid.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That place is ruins right now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that is the fate of America.
Right.
But in the meantime, we should look to these records because the Bible says this is spiritually Sodom and Egypt.
Right.
You understand? Keep reading.
Verse 9. And he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we.
The people and the children of Israel are what?
Are more and mightier than we.
So like always, Black people always have kids, man. No matter what we go through, one thing that we do is we have some babies. You understand? Brothers be locked up and still find a way to get the female COs pregnant. You know what I'm saying? To have babies. That's what we do, man. And it's a glorious thing.
Right.
It's an absolutely glorious thing that we have babies because that's how our lineage, our legacy, that's how our culture continues on. Right. We just read how the nations seek to cut us off from being a nation. You understand? So if they seek to cut us off from being a nation, that will have to mean that it's a good thing for us to have children. Right. It's a good thing for us to have babies and to be a nation. That's why America pushes abortion so heavy on the Black, Hispanic, and Native American community, because they understand that more of us means more people to come up against them. And we're going to read it. They thought the same thing in Egypt. You understand? Because we were the same way in Egypt. We served in oppression and slavery there, and we became mighty as a people. Keep reading.
Verse 10. Come on, let us deal wisely with them.
Let us do what?
Let us deal wisely with them.
They said, let us deal wisely with them. What is the dealing wisely with them referring to right here? When it says, let us deal with them wisely, what are they talking about?
They talking about finessing them.
Finessing. And how do they deal with us wisely? How do they finesse us? Slavery. That was the crafty counsel they took against our people. Slavery is not just for monetary gain. A lot of people get that confused. Slavery is just not for economic gain. Slavery is to keep one set of people from ever rising up against your people. That's why in America, we are treated the way we're treated. That's why we don't ever get justice. That's why the foot of the oppressor stays on our necks. Because the moment they let up, then we will surpass them. Go ahead, because
it's heavy because scripture says that we were more in number and mightier than them.
Right.
Yet we're so peaceful, they still enslaved us.
Still
like
enslaved.
We weren't even looking for a fight. We just wanted to be left alone.
And that's the problem with our people. I won't say that's the problem. That's the beautiful thing about our people. We just want to be left alone. We just want to survive. Even now, look at our people. So many of our people in their ignorance go and protest with Black Lives Matter. The black people in those protests, majority of them are genuinely wanting justice. They're asking the oppressor, I just want to matter. You understand? Unfortunately, the people that had the Black Lives Matter are taking advantage of our people. The George Soros, who funds it, you understand, who's in league with Hillary Clinton, whose idol is, guess who? Margaret Sanger. You understand? Margaret Sanger was the one who was in charge of the eugenics project, what we now know as Planned Parenthood. So you see the connection that the people that really hate us and want to cut us off, they're the ones that's leading our so-called movements. So that's how you know they really not looking for us to prosper or to get justice. But what's sad is black people still today just want to matter. Black Lives Matter. We're not saying blacks. They're not going out there and saying what the I.S.U.P.K says every weekend. We say we want supremacy, according to the Bible. We want supremacy. You're going to kiss the boots. The oppressor is going into slavery, just with the rest of the other races. And blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are going to rule the earth under Christ with an iron rod, man. No, they're not going out there and saying that. They're just saying, I matter. My life means something. That's what's so beautiful and sad with our people. And this is why we need good leaders. This is why we need righteous leaders. Right. Because without righteous leaders, we'll just keep begging to matter and we'll never matter. You understand? Life doesn't work like that. Somebody's on the top, somebody's on the bottom. And we want to be in the middle so bad when that's not how life works. Either we on top or we on the bottom. You understand? It was the same way in Egypt. They dealt with us wisely. And that crafty counsel was to put us in slavery. And that's what they did in Egypt, the same way they did in America. And you read about, we're going to read tonight, some of the things that we suffered in slavery here in America and in the Caribbean was absolutely atrocious, man. The things we suffered in this transatlantic slave trade was absolutely atrocious. I was reading myself and I'm like, I can't. Sometimes you read something and not really feel what it's saying. And then sometimes you really, for a second, picture and feel what you're reading and understand this happened to me back then. This happened to my people. And it really sits with you and it does something to you, man. And that's why the brothers in here are so valuable and precious, because we understand America has to pay for these things we're going to read about tonight. Right. Keep reading that scripture, bro.
God out of what come. Verse 10. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply.
Lest they what?
Lest they multiply.
Lest they multiply. That's always something they fear that we're going to do. That's why Planned Parenthood is in every Black, Hispanic, and Native American neighborhood. That's why we lead the numbers in abortions. Right. In the Black, Hispanic, and Native American communities. That's why Black women and Hispanic and Native American women are given many different options to be sterilized. We had a class on that not too long ago on the forced sterilization of our sisters. Right. Back in the 60s, they made Black women choose between government assistance and getting sterilized or going out on your own, you know what I'm saying? And you keep your baby. That's why when women get pregnant now, the doctor does it in a slick way. They're real crafty. Like, well, you have other options. Let's explore all your options. Like, what are you talking about? What options? What, water birth? What, natural birth? What? Because we having a baby.
Right.
But they're not talking about that. They're saying, listen, you don't have to do this. It's easy. Listen, we'll help cover some of the charge. There's organizations that'll help you pay for your abortion.
Right.
A lot of people don't know that. There's Christian organizations that will pay for a Black, Hispanic, or Native American Indian woman's abortion. I'm not making this up. There are organizations that will do it because they are set on cutting us off from being a nation, from stopping us from multiplying, because we are a threat to their empire. And that goes into what we're going into tonight. Drop that. Get me Buck Breaking, the article I sent you brothers. We're going to go into it tonight. What we seen happen to Nick Cannon, having to apologize, was much deeper than him having to apologize for speaking the truth and him selling out his integrity. That was much deeper than that. I'm going to break it down for you. What we got, can go and read.
It's loading up on my phone.
I got it. You got it?
Nah, go ahead.
5 horrific ways enslaved African men were sexually exploited and abused by their white masters.
Now it says African men, but we all know they call the African slave trade to this day. They call the African slave trade simply because we were brought from the west coast of Africa. But the people that were slaves in the slave trade were not Africans. And I can prove it to you because the Nigerians, the Ashanti people, the Ghanaians, they all apologize, not all of them, but they'll tell you their ancestors got rich from the slave trade. They'll tell, I forgot which African nation it was that apologized for slavery not too long ago. I believe it was Ghana or Togo or Ivory Coast. One of those coastal nations of West Africa apologized to Black people for slavery because they understand we're not the same people. They understand, yes, us Africans sold you Negroes, you Hebrews, you Israelites into slavery. And that's what it is, just to clarify that. So go ahead, keep reading that question.
This form of sexual abuse was very popular in the Caribbean, and it involved white supremacists and slave owners, as well as merchants raping a male slave in front of the public to embarrass him and make him feel less than a man.
Buck breaking. Buck breaking is a term that the oppressor came up with, and it describes the practice of white slave owners taking the strongest male or the most rebellious male. Any male Black slave that had a sense of defiance in him, this is what happened to him. The brothers listen to UPK, the spirit that's in us, this is who they were doing this to. You understand? The brothers that refuse to lay down, the brothers that refuse to be taken and, you know what I'm saying, and to follow the orders. Because, of course, we weren't homeborn slaves. We were free men. So for you to tell us to get in these chains and you put yokes of iron on that, naturally, we're going to do what any man that knows what freedom is does. They fight back. What was the famous saying? There were 2 famous sayings during the American Revolution. Patrick Henry is famous for one of them. And they live by this today. Anybody know? Or can just guess? Give me liberty or give me death.
Right.
What is liberty? Freedom. Even the oppressor understands, I'd rather die than to be in servitude. I'd rather die than to not have freedom.
Right.
And we once understood that as a people. We once felt what it was like to have the emotions of a free man. Now, are we a homeborn slave? That's what we're going to get later. Buck breakers, when they took the most defiant, the strongest, the most rebellious, or just the biggest Black man who was a slave, and they would systematically, intentionally sodomize this man. When I say sodomize, I mean these white homosexual slave owners will bend him over a tree stump. They will whip him until he was exhausted, and then they would bend him over a tree stump and restrain him. And then the slave owners would rape this man. The male slave owners would rape the strongest man in front of all the slaves, in front of his son, in front of his women. And a lot of times they would have his family members be the one to hold him while they were raping him, while they were violating these brothers. We're going to read about why they were doing this and the point of why America does what they do to black men today. Keep reading.
Book breaking became very popular when slave rebellions had increased.
Say that again.
Buck breaking became very popular when slave rebellions had increased.
Buck breaking became popular when slave rebellions increased, meaning the more the slaves became rebellious, this was their response to the slaves becoming rebellious. Right. Anybody can just tell me why you think this became popular as the slaves became rebellious? Anybody? Wow. Natural Africanism. It was Ghana that apologized. That sounded about right. It was one of those West Coast African countries that apologized. Ghana does sound about right. Why would they counteract slave rebellions with such a heinous act as raping the strongest man?
Oh, why would they do such a thing?
Right.
It's
go ahead.
It's like taking you imagine you know everybody knows in the neighborhood this person's the strongest. So if somebody comes along and beats the strongest or beats the most, the person that everybody relied on, the head, whatever terminology you want to use, but if somebody comes and beats that person and shames them in front of you, if Big Joe couldn't beat him, I know I can't beat him. Mm-hmm. If they would do this to this person, what I'm saying, it's a what they call it, a scare tactic. It's a tactic that'll get you to get rebellion out of your mind because the person that you thought could, maybe get one of them, right? Couldn't even get a swing off. So I ain't never gonna swing.
You're absolutely right.
I mean? So
let's get 1 Corinthians 11:3. The oppressor understands something that we've lost as a people. And what they understand is order, family structure. And that's why they put so much money and time and thought into destroying our basic unit of a nation, which is the family. Without strong families, you cannot build a nation. Right. And they understand this. Our people have yet to understand this. Our sisters think they can live without a man. And the kid's gonna be all right without you, and wada whoop the band and all that garbage. And they don't understand you are making it where we're going to continue to suffer these things, right? Because we can't build strong families. Without strong families, you can't build strong communities. You can't build strong neighborhoods, and you can't build a strong nation. And the oppressor understands the order to things. This is the order the Lord has prescribed for our families. Go ahead, Bukwasha.
1 Corinthians 11:3. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ.
But I will have you know that the head of every man is Christ. Meaning, if you are Black, Hispanic, or Native American, you fall under the authority of our King, Christ, man. Right. And if you don't believe it or you don't want to believe it now, don't worry. Lord be with you. Because you're going to fall underneath his authority. You understand? Either by choice or by the force of the sword. You're going to serve underneath Christ. The whole earth is going to be underneath the subjection of our King, Christ, a black man. And right now, the Bible says every man is underneath Christ. Christ is the head of every man. Keep reading.
And the head of the woman.
And the head of who?
The woman.
The head of the woman. Sorry to break it to you, sis. You're not independent. You're not bossy and classy, bougie, savage, and all that garbage, man. We see how that worked out for Megan Thee Stallion. You understand? We see how that turned out for all the sisters that's savage. Right. You understand? You savage, but you got shot in the foot, and now you crying on Facebook, right, on Twitter that people making fun of you. You were savage, sis. That's the savage life. That's what happens. You know what I'm saying? But the sisters don't understand something. They've been trying to fight something that is so biblical, that is so natural, that our lives are in disarray right now. The Bible says the head of every woman
is the man.
Is the goddamn man. The head of every woman is man.
That's right.
And if you don't want to believe from the Bible, guess who does believe this? the oppressor. Let me ask you something. Why didn't they go and rape women? I mean, they did, listen, when I say that, they did rape women. But why, when the rebellion started to get worse with the slaves, why did they make it a point to rape the men? Not the women. Why did they make it a point to publicly rape the men instead of raping the women? Sisters don't want to admit to it, but this is why. Because the man is the head. That's why. And the scripture says something about the head. Read it from the top.
Okay. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is man, and the head of Christ is God.
That's right. What we're reading right here is order, is structure. You understand? We're reading about the order that is supposed to be in every Black, Hispanic, and Native American household. The problem is we ran away from this order, not on our own accord, but systematically. You understand? That crafty counsel that dealing with us wisely, right. This is part of that. Right. The oppressor has intentionally destroyed our family structure. In the 60s, they drafted Black men, and they coming out with the records now that they intentionally drafted more Black and Hispanic men into Vietnam on purpose. Right. We can't make this up, man. The scripture says the earth shall help the woman in Revelations, meaning as time goes on, more and more information is going to come out about how much of a terrorist these devils have been to our people. Right. How much of the devil they have been to us, man. They intentionally drafted more Black and Hispanic men to go to war in Vietnam in the 60s. Right. What was going on in the 60s? Civil rights, the protests, the anti-war protests, the civil rights movement. And guess who was leading those movements? I know it's hard to see now because at the forefront of every so-called revolutionary movement now is Black women, or white women. When in the civil rights era, before integration, the Christian church was the bastion of every revolutionary movement. Because at that time, Black men were still the heads of the community. Right. You understand? So at that time, Black men came together. And this is why we had the civil rights movement. Of course, we found out later it was hijacked, but originally it was started by Black men, the civil rights movement. And in order for the government to quell that, to destroy that movement, that momentum, they got rid of the Black men. They drafted so many of our brothers into Vietnam by force. And then when they got to Vietnam, what did they allow them to do?
Drugs, namely heroin.
Heroin, what do you call it? Heroin. Yep. They allowed them to get high off of heroin on purpose. And then those brothers that fought and died and served this country and sacrificed their sanity, sacrificed their limbs, sacrificed their bodies, they came back here as heroin addicts, man. So much so, a lot of those brothers that served in Vietnam are still addicts today, or homeless, or just dead. They wiped out damn near an entire generation with the Vietnam War and the heroin addiction. Why? To rid the man out of the Black community. Right. Then at the same time, this is going on, they started transferring the jobs to office type jobs. Before the civil rights movement, anybody know what most industries was? What did most men work?
As porters on the train.
Porters on the train, factories, industrial. America at that time was still industrial heavy, meaning everything was American made. That's why Detroit became so, Detroit and Chicago were such booming cities because these is where they were making cars, the Ford factories. You understand?
It's like the line that Henry Ford is so famous for
the assembly line.
The assembly line, that was George Washington Carver's plan. That was his model.
That's why he called it the plan. That's exactly that. What McQuarrie just brought out is absolutely true. That's why we ever worked in the factory. They call it the plant. Yeah, we headed to the plant today. Why you really call it the plant? Like, what the hell you call it the factory a plant? Because that model of the assembly line came from a Black man, George Washington Carver. Everything the oppressor benefits off of comes from our people. You understand? But America at that time was mostly industry jobs. America intentionally sent a lot of those jobs overseas. It was cheaper, but mainly what they were able to do was destabilize who was the breadwinner in the black community. You understand? Now that black men went over to fight in wars and then they came back, most of the jobs that were there before are not there. Now, in America now, what are most of the jobs now? 9 to 5 cubicle jobs. The jobs now are as the majority of the workforce isn't what it used to be before. You understand? But now it's more 9 to 5, sitting in a cubicle somewhere, you know what I'm saying, or standing in somebody's security. It's not you in the factory, you know, hammering something down and doing that. So a lot of times what they did was they filled the workplace now with women. Right. They filled the workplace with women intentionally. And now you have a whole generation of women who were not the breadwinners before. Now they're making the money. On top of that, they made it harder for black men to get jobs because they were locking up black men like crazy for absolutely nothing. There's nothing changed. New York just repealed stop and frisk. They came out and said stop and frisk was intentionally targeting black and Hispanic men. Right. You know what I'm saying? More than any other race of people. Eric Garner is dead right now because of stop and frisk. Just imagine how many more Eric Garners we've had since the 60s. So now you have black men that's been locked up. They got a felony, they can't get jobs. So now brothers, I come back home and they don't have jobs and they're addicts. So now the woman is in charge of the household. And then they turn around and made it where welfare, you only get your benefits if the man is not present. America has invested so much crafty counsel into this plan. We don't understand the importance of the man being in the house and the structure and the black man being a strong man because we've been so conditioned, but they understand this to a T. Look at Mark 3:27. Right, that's the natural Africanism. That's the terms. That's the term I'm looking for. Most jobs prior to the civil rights were what they call blue collar. Now, a lot of the jobs are more white collar. You understand? Blue collar is referring to more strenuous labor. Most jobs, normally women didn't do. It wasn't popular for women to be working blue collar jobs, working in factories. Of course they did, but that was something where the men work in the factories. White collar jobs now are something where, you know, you think about somebody being a typist, a secretary, and you automatically associate that with a woman. Like, oh, yeah, I'm a secretary. You associate that with a woman. Not to say a man can't be a secretary, but that's the dynamic shift of the jobs in the market in America. And they've done all of this to destabilize the black community because the oppressor understands our scriptures, they understand our records, and they understand the order our God has given us. Whoever got that to read that.
This is Mark 3:27. No man can enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods.
Say it again.
No man can enter into a strong man's house.
No man can enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods. What does it mean to spoil his goods? Because
take his stuff.
To take his stuff, man. To damage his house. To rob somebody. That's what it's talking about. If you had a house right now and you live there with your woman, right, and you got your kids, and somebody was casing houses to see which house they wanted to rob. Do you know, as people that rob houses, they are least likely to rob somebody's house where they see a man is there consistently. The people's houses who get robbed more often are women. I'm telling you this, I ain't gonna say from experience, it's a lot. The brothers in the world, and we all hung around brothers that was wicked, you understand? This is really what robbers think. And if you don't know, white men are the most demographically thieves, according to the statistics. Yeah, they are the skilled thieves. They are the biggest demographic of burglars.
Right.
Black men make up more of the armed robbery, but white men are the biggest burglars, meaning coming to your house and taking things. You understand? That's what they statistics say. But go ahead, question.
I was watching this video. It was talking about what white privilege is, and it was asking these white people, you know, the Edomites, what white privilege was, and this one kid was saying how when he was a teenager, he described himself as a punk.
Right.
He would go into stores and shoplift. At first, he was just doing it just to get a thrill out of it and whatnot.
Right.
But then he noticed that whenever he was going in, the security people never looked at him.
Right.
They only looked at the black people and the Hispanic people. So he knew that no one was going to be looking at him. So he would go in there and steal at all time. Anytime he wanted something, he would just go in there and steal because he knew they wouldn't look at him.
Brother, good. I hope he robbed them blind. I hope he robbed them to bankruptcy. You know why? Because that's what they get, man. The fact that we are portrayed as the stereotypes, as the thugs and the criminals. Listen, the oppressor looks at us as terrorists when the terrorist is right here in his front yard.
Right.
The terrorists are his people. And guess what? As time comes on and as the Lord brings this place to its knees, we're going to see more of it. You're going to see more of these devils being their true self. You're going to see it. You understand what I'm saying? The Bible talks about it, man. You're going to see more terrorist attacks, not from the Arabs. You're going to see more terrorist attacks from what they call in the FBI, homegrown terrorists, white nationalists. You're going to see how patriotic these devils really are. You're going to find out, man, because that's who they really are. While we're being stereotyped and followed around the stores, you understand what I'm saying, and being looked at as, well, brother would clutch their purses like we're going to steal from them. This is really who was doing it. You understand? This is they buying scanners and walking by your purse and your wallet and scanning your credit card information while they smile in your face.
Right.
But you don't touch your purse. No sweat. The Lord's going to turn this place upside down. And it has to happen. It has to happen. But the Bible says no man can enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods. If you're robbing a house and you're looking to see what house you're going to go into, common sense would tell you, I want to go in the house with the least resistance. Right. You wouldn't want to go in a house where you know they got a pit bull and you know it's a brother that stay there. You wouldn't want to go in a house where it's a sister that lived there, but all her uncles live there with her, all her brothers. You want to look for the house that's the most vulnerable. Who thinks like this? Where do you see this making happen?
As a whole, our oppressive, but just to give below, like as a whole in the nation, but the U.S. military.
Yes, you're right. Go ahead.
When they go to countries, a lot of they just like they did with us, but just like with other nations as well that they dealt with, they you know what I'm saying, they'll go after, you know what I'm saying, the most vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? They ain't going over there trying to just go and mess with Russia like that because they know Russia goes.
Exactly.
Yeah, they ain't gonna mess with fat boy
Kim Jong.
They ain't gonna mess with him because why? Yeah.
Right, if he's still alive.
If he's still alive, but you know what I'm saying? They have a thing for bullying the weaker or the poor.
Right. Who does that by nature? Who looks for the weak?
Cowards and bullies.
Predators.
Oh, predators.
Cowards and bullies is absolutely correct. Predators. In the animal kingdom, you see this happen.
Right.
In the animal kingdom, you don't see hyenas go for the strongest. You don't see lions even. As mighty as lions are, they don't naturally go after the strongest and the biggest. You don't look at the biggest and like, oh, more meat. Let's get the bigger one. No, that's not how animals think. That's not how predators think.
Right.
They look for who's at the back of the herd.
Right.
Where is that little antelope that just learned to walk? They looking for the weak thing. What's weaker? You understand?
Right.
And this is why our black women have been so destroyed in America and wherever we are facing captivity on this earth. Because they have been taught to believe that they are strong on their own. They have been taught to believe that they are their own separate entity when that is not the case.
Yep.
The Bible says something different. Read it from the top of the question.
No man can enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, except he will first binding the strong man.
Except he first what?
Bind the strong man, and then he will spoil his house.
Listen, man. No man can enter into your house and spoil your goods unless he first bind the strong man. And what we witness in America and our families and our Black, Hispanic, and Native American communities is we watch as Black men are bound.
That's right.
Spiritually, actually, physically, emotionally. We watch Will Smith be bound and publicly humiliated.
Right.
Emotionally and spiritually castrated on TV. We watch this. I don't care what you conspiracy theorists believe. Well, they was doing this and doing that. Listen, we're going off of what we know to be right here.
That's right.
And that's that this brother's wife was messing around with another cat. And we had to sit and watch him hear his woman look him in the face and emasculate him. We had to watch that. Go ahead, Bakwash.
And what's even more disgusting is that this punk made a song about it.
Don't get me started on that, Bakwash.
Made a song about it.
I took that personally. Yeah, listen, I know.
Are you serious?
I read the lyrics before I listened to him because I said, let me see what he's talking about. And I said, brother, it's surely I see why the Lord says adulterers shall be put to death. Because this little Negro in our kingdom will be put to death. Straight up and down. That to add insult to injury. His brother already was humiliated on public. And we just found out that YouTube Red Table Talk was the #1 trending video in the world. A Black man being emasculated was the #1 trending video in the world.
So that sounds like a lynching. People came around for miles around to see a Black man with a noose around his neck. This is exactly what it is. It's a lynching.
Because I mean,
his character.
It was a live lynching.
This is what we talking about right now, because that's exactly what this was. This was buck breaking. We watched Will Smith be emasculated. And it's a reason why we keep seeing these things happen. I was posting a post on Facebook, and a lot of people laughed at it, and it is funny on the surface, but it's really not funny when you look at it. There's a lot of memes going on. It's a popular thing of these memes with the crying Jordan, the crying Tyrese, the crying, the sad face Will, the crying Kanye, the new one. You understand? There's a thing with these memes with these Black men crying. Why aren't there any memes that we laugh at with crying white men? Is there any meme out there like that where it's some white man crying that we laugh at? Some of Brad Pitt crying, of Matthew McConaughey, of Robert De Niro. Are there any memes of these white men crying? And they cry. They absolutely cry. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with crying. But you got to understand at a certain point, why is it that there are memes and we make humor in seeing Black men crying? Because there's a spirit in America that wants to bind the strong man. And if we didn't know by now, the Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian man is the strong man. And they have to bind us up spiritually, physically. And that's what we're watching. Go ahead, bro.
So, too, just to piggyback on what you were saying, like it's so heavy because in the beginning of the class, you was talking about, why it is that they'll rate the strong man, and all that above. Even these memes have that same spirit. It has Michael Jordan, your favorite basketball player, your role model of life.
Exactly.
Crying like this. Will Smith, Lord knows, I know how many people say that's their favorite actor.
The most successful Black actor.
One of the most successful Black actors.
Yes.
The other one is who was one of the other Tyrese. Tyrese. Everybody that grew up on Fast and Furious and his music. Yep. Now it's all the people that you look at as your heads. I mean, it ain't just some brother that you ain't never seen before.
Nope.
It's somebody that the world knows
Yep.
that our oppressor knows that you look up to.
Yep.
And they, that meme is pushed out there everywhere. You understand? To emasculate and to have you think even the greatest of you.
Yep.
I have them like this,
brother.
And I have the perfect platform to make this go viral. You know what I mean?
Brother, it's not by chance it's like that. What you said is absolutely correct. When we see these memes, look into the spirit behind it. I've never seen a meme of some famous white actor crying. But whenever we see a black man crying, it's hilarious. It's funny. Listen, I'm guilty too. I laugh. I got a sense of humor too. Salakia. But on the deeper level, it's like, okay, why am I finding this so funny? This is a brother that Michael Jordan is the most successful basketball player ever. I get to debates on who I think was the greatest, but on as far as iconic wise, Michael Jordan is the face of basketball.
Right.
You understand? And that's just what it is. Movie wise, Will Smith is the face of black actors.
Right.
Will Smith had #1 movies back to back to back to back. You understand? The people, Kanye at one point was the most successful producer. Like Barack was brought out, everybody that we may look up to for some sort of, like, yes, the oppressor makes sure to destroy their image or to emasculate them in public. Who just recently was emasculated besides Will Smith? Nick Cannon. Deshaun Jackson. Nick Cannon, if you didn't know, was the poster boy for everything black men were supposed to be. Nick Cannon his rap career wasn't as successful, but he was like Will Smith in a sense. He did the cuss in his music. He was real PG. You understand? He wasn't rugged and nothing like that. He was a funny guy, so he wasn't intimidating. Right. Business savvy. We climbed to the top of business, an entrepreneur. Look up Nick Cannon, man, and really see what all this brother has done in such a short time. You understand what I'm saying? This brother was the poster boy for what, you would think we would aspire to be like if you were in the world. Like, I want to be like Nick Cannon, young entrepreneur. And we found out just how much America really values what we think we should be. They made Nick Cannon apologize for speaking something that he has the right to say according to America. They made him apologize for saying something not only he has the right to say, but it's absolutely the goddamn truth. Nick Cannon said the Jews are black. And he said the people from the Caucasus Mountains are savages. Right. Well, I don't know about you. You may can dispute the Jews are black all you want to, but nobody can dispute the fact that America's history is nothing but pure savagery, pure barbaric, pure animalistic, man. We read about drop that whole react. Let's go back to buck breaking. I want to get too distracted. Let's go back to how much these savages were savages to our people. Since that was such an issue, since America cringed to hear somebody say that. You know why they cringed? Because it's the goddamn truth. It's true. And we're going to read about just how savage these animals were to our people. Go ahead, Bakwash.
Enslaved men were first stripped naked and flogged in
Salaki. And Salaki is going to be a little graphic. Read this slow, Bakwash. General Muhammad said, when people don't want to hear the truth and acknowledge what we go through, what do you have to do? Put it in their goddamn face.
That's right.
Shock treatment.
That's right.
And brother, this is shock treatment. If this don't shock you or do something to you as a man, as a masculine man, brother, I don't know what else would shock you. Read this slow, Quash. This is what we used to suffer.
Enslaved men were first stripped naked and flogged in front of a crowd, after which they were raped by a white man to serve as a warning to other slaves. Black
men, and you have to feel this for a second, man. Visualize it to understand it. Imagine you in slavery. You would think, I'm not going. I'm going to be the one that's in charge. I'm going to be the leader of the revolution and the rebellion. Right. Brother, they're taking you and they're stripping you naked and they're whipping you to submission. And then on top of it, after they whip you, they put you on a tree stump.
It's like they're saying they raped them first and then whipped them.
Yeah, right. Rape them and then whip them. Brother, this right here speaks to what Nick Cannon was saying about these people that rule over us. The people that made Nick Cannon apologize. The people that canceled Nick Cannon. This is their nature. This is what they do.
It's a lot to it. If I may add, like this is like in modern terms or in today's society, like what it's like a equal to, not in the context of equal to like the burning out of the eyes if you try to
read the Bible.
If you try to read the Bible. If you try to look at his what's it called? He tried to get his identity down and put it out there, thinking that this would be something good. America quickly reminded him that, what I'm saying, if you do so, we'll burn out your eyes.
Burn your eyes out.
If you'll burn out your eyes, or in other words, we'll make you apologize. We'll make you hate the fact that you even thought about it.
But right. We'll make you hate the fact that you thought you could say that? You thought you could say that?
Yeah, exactly.
And we pay you?
You've lost your mind.
Cancel him.
Yep.
Brother, I wouldn't be surprised if that brother got death threats and all type of things. You understand? And then a brother in the world, that's scary.
Yep.
That's scary. A brother in the world, imagine to see this, and you thought about rising up, and then you see this happen to somebody that you thought was strong. Imagine us in the UPK watch brothers that we look up to be emasculated. We'll do something to you. John Muhammad always says, cowardice is contagious. The same way courage is contagious. Brother, you will see that in any thought that you had of speaking up or fighting back. Nope, not me. I just serve slavery. No, give me slavery before you give me death. That's what we say. The oppressor would have died. Jesus would have just rape me till I die. You know what I'm saying? That's them. I'll die. We seen that? Nope. No, we'll do what you need to do. We'll do it. This is the problem. Go ahead, bro.
It's a lot too. I want to word this right, but it's almost in that same spirit that you just said, something heavy. The oppressor they're gonna say, give me freedom or die. You know what I'm saying? But we'll say, give me slavery. Yeah, this day, give me slavery or die, and then we'll take the slavery. What puts them in that spirit when it comes to oppressing us as well is, there is no in between.
Right.
You understand? Because you're not getting the freedom part.
You're not getting it.
So, you know what I'm saying? You'll slowly die. You'll either die from, our drugs. You'll either die from our police officers. You'll die from our crappy counsel.
Right.
But you won't get this. There's no in between for them.
Right.
Us is an in between. I don't want to die. I got to feed my children. So if I got to feed my children, I got to do this. I'll lose my integrity. I'll lose my morality. I'll forget my God, and I'll conform onto your likings.
Precept.
You understand what I'm saying?
That's a good one. Not what I was looking for. We would rather save our lives instead of trying to lose it.
He that rather save his life
shall lose it.
Shall lose it.
Give me John 12:25. Hold where we was at. I can still get John 12:25. This is a perfect understanding.
The book of John, chapter 12, verse 25. He that loveth his life.
He that loveth his life. It's natural to love life, man. That is every creature on the face of the earth has the innate sense of self-preservation. Every creature. So much so, you can look at plants, and certain plants will bend to wherever the sun is to get the most sunlight to grow.
Right. I see this picture of a tree that it looked like it had a mudslide.
Right.
And it's piled under, and you see the roots like going in deeper into the earth and finding water.
Right.
It's going to where life is.
Where life is. Brother, but Quash, what you said is heavy, and even how you said it. When the roots of the tree is looking for life, it's searching for life. You understand? And our problem is we're not really searching for life. We're really just trying to avoid death.
Right.
There's a difference. To search for life and to avoid death is a difference. But every creature on the face of this earth has the innate sense of self-preservation. You know what's the first sense babies have when they're born? I forgot what they call it. The sensation, the strongest sensation a baby has when they're born.
Sense of touch.
The fear of falling.
They do. I see that with my. So like.
He understands.
That's true. That's good.
Babies are born with the strongest sensation is the fear of falling, because that is their innate sense of I want to survive. Right. You understand? That's why babies will jerk a certain way naturally. They don't know anything about falling. They have never failed before. He was like, we learn to not to do something from trial and error.
Right.
Babies never fail, but somehow they are born with knowing, no, that don't feel right. Don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? Every creature is born with the sense of self-preservation. The scripture says, he who loveth his life, it's natural to love your life, man. Right. It's natural. But this is what the Bible says. Read it again.
Salaki. He that loveth his life shall lose it. And he that hateth his life in this world shall keep it unto life eternal.
Listen, if you love your life so much that you're willing to compromise your integrity, that you're trying to escape death, guess what awaits you? The thing you're trying to avoid. You know how you know? This is how you know. The Lord put a spirit on Nick Cannon, brother. When he apologized, and we laugh about everything so goddamn much when we don't really see the spirit behind the things that's going on with our brothers and our sisters. Even though they're lost and they're not us, they don't do our job, they're not as strong as us, but goddamn, you know, the brother tried. I ain't saying feel sorry for him, but I'm saying he tried. He loved him. The truth sounded good to him and he loved it. Yeah, the truth is black. Yeah. Can't say that. And because he apologized, you see afterwards, the brother was suicidal, man. He was dead. He was suicidal. And they just had an argument came out that he confirmed he was having suicidal thoughts after having to do that. You know why? Because you love your life so much that you'll compromise to avoid death, and you'll just die. You'll die. Go ahead, McQuest.
It's like I've heard so many stories about brothers in the UPK and what they've been through once they found out the truth.
Right.
He was on the path to the truth. He was on the path to UPK because so many brothers, once they found out, we didn't know how to really deal with it. And we spoke out, and there was a number of brothers that were in the same position as Nick Cannon.
Yep.
Lost their livelihood at that time.
Right.
But they kept on the path.
Right.
And they stayed in. They came into class and their brain raised up.
But why is that, McQuest? Why is it that Nick Cannon couldn't do what we did?
I want to say because he wasn't chosen.
Yes, that's always the correct answer. But to the point of what we're talking about.
Well, not this field ain't for everybody. This what I mean by this field not everybody can just pick up the Bible and say that Jews are black and then call themselves, being militant or being like this is their profession.
Well, everybody can. Nick Cannon did it. But why is it that he didn't stick with it the same way when we came up against adversity? We stuck with it. Yes, and to go to his precept, he loved his life more than he loved anything else. I wouldn't doubt he got death threats. I wouldn't doubt they threatened him just besides him taking his money. I wouldn't doubt. Listen, you say that again, you killing your kids. We knocking off them little light-skinned kids. I can imagine they told him that, man. But guess what? He loved his life so much, he backtracked, man. Listen, we go out in the face of death at camp, man. And we tell the white man to his face, in his capital, in the belly of the beast, the white man is the devil the Bible speaks of.
That's right.
Fire me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, when I was working as a slave, I wanted my slave to find. I pray. I hope they come across a video so they can look me in the face and know this is what I do on the weekends. Yeah, I want you to look me in my face and know this is how I feel. And I'm still smiling and being polite. I wanted my slave to know. You understand? Now I'm not saying go out and do that. Just be wise. You know what I'm saying? Be wise. I was younger then, but wise. You understand? But still, we do this in the face of adversity. We keep pressing on. We lose slaves. We lose jobs. You understand? We lose family members. We lose wives. How many brothers came in here and they woman pulled a Jada Pinkett on them, man? How many brothers came in here and found out they were and got entangled on them? Because they came in here and started doing the truth. And how many brothers said, to hell with that whore. Let's keep pressing on. How many brothers came in here and their kids disown them and didn't want to talk to them because they can't get Christmas gifts no more.
Right.
How many mothers said you a terrible son because you didn't buy her a Mother's Day gift?
Right.
You don't love your mother no more. You could at least call your mama. To hell with that, man. If I'm not your son, oh well. Listen, I got moms and dads and brothers in here. Oh well. How many of us went through that and still go through it for the sake of this? Why? Because we don't love our lives to the point where we're compromised. And the Bible is the key to understanding. This is how we achieve justice.
Right.
We will never achieve justice without this spirit. And what's sad is the white man understands this. He says, don't tread on me. Give me liberty or give me death. You understand? That's what they believe. Meaning they'll die for the sake of them living as free men. They'll die and sacrifice for the principle of them living standing up. We've been conditioned to live on our knees, man. We've been conditioned to live walking on eggshells. That's not the way to live. Brother, the brothers in I.S.U.P.K don't walk on eggshells. I hope you understand that.
That's right.
We don't walk on eggshells in here, man. You understand? You know what I'm saying? What happens? The Lord's will. You know, I pray the slave don't fire me, but if they fire me, Lord, so be it. That's that. You know what I'm saying? I pray this girl don't harm me. If she does it, so be it. I pray my kids don't grow up to be homosexuals and lesbians. If they are, so be it, man. What can we do? Keep pressing on. Keep living the life the Lord calls us to live. Read that scripture one more time from the top.
God. The book of John, chapter 12, verse 25. He that loveth his life shall lose it, and he that hateth his life in this world shall keep it unto life eternal.
What does it mean to hate your life in this world?
It means to put your life in harm's way in the work of the Lord. Like you go out there and do something dangerous, knowing it's dangerous. Potentially you could lose your life because of what the Lord is asking you to do. But you rather do the work more than saving your own life. Let's just say what we do never got dangerous. What does it mean to hate your life in this world? Because let's just say it never was dangerous, but you still sacrificing something. I would say that you're not giving in to your lust.
Yes. That is the part that people understand. Nick Cannon gave in to his lust to love life more than principle. And that is a sin. That is a sin. You know how this knows a sin? Because Christ could have quit too. Christ could have loved life more than death as well. And guess what? We wouldn't be here, man. Christ loved what the Lord told him to do more than death, man.
That's right.
That's what's beautiful about it. That's hating your life in this world. You giving up smoking weed for the sake of you living as a righteous man. You giving up whores. You giving up everything that you thought was there. I seen a commercial the other day, brother. And I said, good night, get thee behind me, Satan. It was a commercial. I watching something on crabs. And I said, when I seen him crack that leg open, and I was watching it was a video on Facebook. And it was a hacks video. And it was like, oh, here's a hack on how to crack a crab leg. And I'm watching this video. I say, good night. We was doing this wrong the whole time. I'm watching how they cracked the leg and they pulled the crab leg meat out. I say, damn, good night, boy. Brother, we willing to give up that. Good thing butter, you understand? For the truth. We willing to give up everything that was nice and made us survive. We really wasn't living. But we gave up all the things that comforted us in this place for the sake of the truth.
That's right.
You understand? For the sake of what's right. For the sake of our nation. And that's why America's established today. Because they sacrificed everything. They were willing to sacrifice it all. You get a chance. Read about John Adams. Read about that devil's story and just how much he gave up and sacrificed to establish what we know today as America.
Right.
These devils, brother, they were willing to lose and risk it all. You know, they were, according to the government, they were traitors, man. They were absolute traitors, according to the Britain government. This is not, you read that story and they make it sound real nice and clean, but you to really think of that time period, these were traitors, meaning y'all enemies of the state. You ever see the movie Enemy of the State with Will Smith? Yeah. That's what these so-called American revolutionists were. These cats, the government is looking for you. You're enemies to the state. You're traitors, man. And they were willing to be traitors to be able to establish their own nation, even to the point of death. What are we willing to give up, man? Let's go back to the article we was reading. There's some more that I want to bring up.
On several occasions, enslaved men with families were forced to have sex with each other in front of their families, or were raped in front of their sons.
In several cases, enslaved men. Now, this is not saying men were forced to have sex with the sisters in front of their families. That happened too on breeding farms. But they would make the two strongest men, the two brothers that was the rough and tough, and they would make them have sex with each other in front of all the slaves. Then you wonder why in America, why there's an epidemic of black men being put in dresses. You know why? The same spirit of what we're reading right now. They can't physically make black men have sex with each other anymore because, of course, things have been more polished and politically correct. But what they can do is spiritually push that on our people. And that's what we see when we see our black entertainers wear dresses. That's what we see when we see our black entertainers apologize, man. That's what we see when we see our black entertainers lie and shuck and jive. Our pastors and the politicians shuck and jive and lie. That's what we're seeing. We're seeing these people be emasculated, man. Be sodomized. Keep reading.
Many enslaved men who had gone through the process of buck breaking killed themselves afterwards or ran away. They killed themselves afterwards or ran away and never returned.
Imagine this. Imagine you tried to avoid death so bad just for you to end up killing yourself anyways. These brothers could have fought to the death. I'm not saying some of these brothers didn't. We don't really know that. I would imagine they did. But at some point, you have to say, oh, damn, these brothers went through all this just to be kill themselves anyways? You had to kill me before you could get me. I'm making you kill me. You have to kill me. You're not laying me down. You're going to have to kill me in the fight that's going to ensue. You understand? And guess what? These brothers end up killing themselves after because the shame of being emasculated is so much worse than the gain of trying to survive. It's so much worse. You understand? And that's what Nick Cannon failed to realize. The shame of being emasculated was so much worse than the gain of trying to hold on to his little trinkets that the oppressor gave him. The little status and the crumbs the oppressor. Listen, what Nick Cannon has, that brother is worth $40 million. And guess what? This is what the oppressor showed us. That is nothing but crumbs. That is nothing but crumbs. He's worth $40 million and they was able to cancel that Negro in 24 hours. Right. Nick Cannon is a high-priced slave. The same with all our politicians, all our black leaders, man. High-priced slaves. And they love life more than they love their integrity. Keep reading, Quas. Select.
For the white supremacists.
Turn on the mic a little bit, Barack. Turn it down.
For the white supremacists, buck breaking either on ships or on a plantation was a way of utterly embarrassing the men and showing dominance.
This was a way of utterly embarrassing the men and showing dominance, man. Buck breaking. This is how they show dominance. It was to shame the men and embarrass them, man. Give me. 1 Peter 3:7. This goes into this whole psychological concept of why the oppressor did the things they did to our people. And it's so jacked up because we refused to follow the Bible as a people. We had a battle camp this past camp with Muslims. Right. And I don't, for the life of me, can't understand why the hell would you follow a book of a man who's a known pedophile. It's common knowledge that Muhammad was a pedophile. It's common knowledge. Even the Arabs will tell you, yeah, well, his wife, even still in the Islamic culture today, they take child brides. Not my words, that's their culture. In their culture, they still take boys for sexual pleasure. That's literally their culture. You understand? Go ahead, because
Also, their culture is to take their finger and wipe their ass with it, and then take a tissue and then wipe their finger. That's why they're not supposed to touch it with their left hand.
Good night. See,
that's also their culture.
I wish you to talk. I wish I'd have known that. I wish I'd have known that years ago. I would have never went to Dunkin' Donuts. I would have never did mess with anything that they dealt with. But this is the problem. Because we don't have our own, we gotta suffer somebody wiping their tail with their bare fingers. Hurry up and buy it. Hello, how can I help you? You want the glazed donut? No, I don't want nothing. I know what you do with that hand. No. Well, we have to suffer that because we've been led by people who love gain more than integrity. And now we have nothing. You understand? This is what they do. Where was I going with it? First Peter. Let's read that.
Khan. 1 Peter chapter 3 and 7. Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel, and as being heirs together of the grace of life.
This is important to understand, black man, Hispanic man, Native American Indian man. This is important to understand. We just read about there's an order we're supposed to have in our families, in our households, in our nation. And that's the man is the head of woman, and Christ is the head of man. This confirms and reaffirms what we just read. Read that again.
Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge.
Likewise, ye husbands. This is referring to the brothers. Dwell with them. Is it deal or dwell?
Dwell.
It's like dwell with them according to knowledge. What knowledge is this talking about? Knowledge according to the Bible. Knowledge according to these laws, statutes, and commandments. If you didn't know, the Bible is the pinnacle of wisdom, man. The Bible is the pinnacle of knowledge, understanding, wisdom. That's why it's so sad for people to really believe that they get knowledge outside of reading the Bible. Like, well, the Bible is not the only thing you can read to get knowledge. Like, everything you read else is garbage. Because the Bible is the pinnacle. The Bible is the pinnacle of wisdom and knowledge. Be cap in the house. This we don't understand. And our people run from the Bible, and that's why we are fools. Look at our community, man. The world looks at us as fools because we've abandoned our wisdom. This is wisdom right here. Dwell with her with knowledge. Keep reading.
Giving honor unto the wife.
Giving honor unto the wife. This is referring to brothers. Give honor to the wife. What's this? What's the honor he gives to your wife? It's going to tell you. Keep reading.
As unto the weaker vessel.
As unto the what?
Weaker vessel.
As unto the weaker vessel. For all you sisters out there that believe you strong and you independent and you don't need no man and yada yada, I'm a savage, classy, boozy, ratchet, and all that garbage. I talk like that because that's how we hear it sometimes. Yeah, I know. I hear you, sis. I hear you. The Bible says you're the weaker vessel. You're weaker. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you knew your role and stayed in your role, we can have a cohesive unit. The problem is, we've been taught to let women be in charge and to take over. And because of that, our house is spoiled. Right. The black man in his own house and community has been bound, man, has been emasculated, right, has been castrated, right, and he's bound. And now the person that's the Lord said is the weaker vessel is now left to make decisions. You can't really blame black women all too much. They do what they're supposed to do. It's like leaving the house, leaving your 6-year-old in the house by themselves. Whatever you come home to see that's on you. You understand? And when I say a lot of sisters might be offended, I'm comparing you to a 6-year-old. Listen, it's nothing to slight against the sisters, man. It's nothing to slight against you, but you got to understand, without a man leading you, your decisions are going to be that of a child. You're going to make terrible decisions, man. You understand? The Bible calls the woman the weaker vessel, and the oppressor understands this. That's why they bind the strong man. That's why they do what they do to black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian man. And what we're watching on a public scale is the spiritual castration of black people. Drop that. Give me back to the article, because go down to the part where it talks about castration. Go down to that part. Shalom, shalom for everybody that's tuning in. The water, Floridale, Israel. For turn on the mic. The water. See you tuning in. The water, shalom, shalom. Everybody that's tuning in. Like, share, subscribe. Share the stream. Tune in. Y'all tune in tonight too at 9:00 Eastern time to the Black Watch Commanding Junior YAHANNA's radio show, man. The leader of the nation of Israel, man. Y'all tune in. He dropping it real heavy on what's going on with the current events. And he speaks from a perspective that you are not going to hear nowhere else, man. Every time the show come on, I'm like, I wish Commanding Junior YAHANNA could do this every night. Because it's everything for us in the UPK. And if you had any sense, it would be everything to you, man. Because it's wisdom according to this Bible. You understand? Y'all tune in, like, share, subscribe. Commanding Junior YAHANNA's page. Y'all like, share, subscribe. This video in the I.S.U.P.K. Washington, D.C., man. You understand? That's right. Where we at with it?
Enslaved men were castrated or sexually mutilated as a form of punishment.
Read that again.
Enslaved men were castrated or sexually mutilated as a form of punishment.
Enslaved men were castrated or sexually mutilated as a form of punishment. What punishment would this serve to castrate a man or sexually mutilate him? Keep reading. Question.
Such punishments were meted out to an enslaved man when he was caught in bed with his master's wife or daughter, or said to be married, or having an affair with an enslaved woman who was sexually interested in a merchant or a slave master. These acts were also done to take away any form of pride.
These acts were done why?
To take away any form of pride.
To take away any form of pride. What we're watching is the crafty counsel being done against our people. If black people don't have pride in who we are, then what do you have? Southside Chicago, West Baltimore, Southeast DC, the Gardens down there in Miami. You understand? You got what we have now. The Black, Hispanic, and Native American community is in shambles because we have been robbed of this pride. The problem is the only way to get this pride is to fear the Lord, not death. You understand? The only way to get this is to not fear your oppressor, man. Keep reading.
Enslaved men who are often the leaders of a group of slaves on a plantation or a rebel group were castrated and called women to show the white man's dominance.
Listen, if we don't experience this right now, I don't know what are you looking at? This is why all the entertainers put on dresses, man. This is why Nick Cannon had to apologize. This is why Deshaun Jackson had to apologize. This is why Terry Crews let some grown white man grab his genitals and he didn't say anything. And let me tell you something. I hope Terry Crews see this video. Terry Crews, you close your goddamn mouth about black issues. You let some man sexually assault you. You let some grown man violate your mouth closed. And now you want to speak up. You keep your goddamn mouth closed, man. You worry about protecting yourself. Right. You worry about protecting your woman. You goddamn, like, if you let that happen to him, what would you let happen to your woman? Right. Or your children? Right. You're supposed to be a protector, man. And you letting that happen? Right. You know why? Because he values his life more than he fears the Lord, man. Right. He wants to stay in his comforts and his position more than his goddamn pride and integrity. Like, at what point what's the drawing line? What's the boundary? You let some grown man grab you in the crotch and you don't say nothing. I mean, what's the drawing line? At what point do you say, nah, I ain't doing that. Nah, I can't do that. Brother, our people look up to men who have been castrated and violated because it's meant to rob us of pride. Go ahead, Quash.
It's I won't say it's coincidental that you say that, because I heard the rebuttal or what Charles Barkley had put out about Nick Cannon, And he was saying his his normal coonish stuff, like, I don't understand why you do this, why you do that. Right. But someone brought to my attention that he, like, I knew he was from the South. Yeah. You know, I knew he was from Alabama, but what I didn't know or didn't realize, put two and two together, was that he was in the South, right, during Jim Crow. Right. He knew what was going on. He was in the deep South. Right. When he went to Auburn, the KKK threatened his family for not going to Alabama. Yeah, wanted to kill his family. So he knew about white supremacy firsthand and all that. But yet he's coming out as whatever he is. Can you blame him? What he witnessed is what those slaves witnessed. Two things happen when you witness things like that. When opposition happens, one of two things happen. Fight or flight. Fight or flight. That's science. That's science. That's neuroscience. And I watch it happen so many times, working at different various slaves in environments where it's life or death. It happens. People either fight or they flight. The brothers in the I.S.U.P.K are trained. When adversity comes, we fight. We fight for our nation. We fight for our people, because there's nobody here that we fear more than the Lord. Give me Matthew 10 and 28, and we're going to end it on this. I want to do a part two of this one because I ain't getting everything I want to get into. And this one is so prevalent because this talks about everything that we're seeing as far as the family being broken up, black men being destroyed, the music. This all ties into pretty much the crafty counsel that's being taken against our people. Understand? And it boils down to really fear. Fear stops you from getting justice. Fear stops you from being free. You understand? There's nothing wrong with fear. It's a matter of who you're fearing. And we're going to find out who you should fear. Read that. Okay. Matthew 10 and 28. And fear not them which kill the body. And fear not them which kill the body. Who can kill the body? Anybody. Any goddamn body. A child can take your gun and accidentally play with it and shoot you and kill you. Your own child, by accident. You can die. They used to have a show on Spike TV called 1,000 Ways to Die. I used to love that show. I absolutely loved it because it reminded me, he's like, damn, so many ways you can be taken out. And really what it was showing me is that if the Lord wants you gone, you're gone. What does that also mean? If the Lord wants you alive, can't nobody take you out. If the Lord wants you here, you're here, man. Fear not him who can destroy the body. Don't fear the threat of death, man. Don't let that be the deciding factor on the decisions you make. Because if you fear death, then anybody know the precept I'm looking for? Who you yield your members to is who you'll serve. Give me that real quick, right? That's gonna be the last one. Keep reading the question. Okay. But are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. Fear the Lord, man. The Lord can destroy your body in both your soul and your body in hell. Meaning the Lord can kill you and then guess what? Bring you back and then kill you again. Or make you suffer all over again. Fear the Lord. The Lord deserves your fear, man. Your reverence. Don't love your life so much that you fear this place, that you fear America, that you fear your boss at your job. That's not the way to live, man. That's not how free men live. The oppressor says, give me liberty or give me death. That's right. Damn, that give me the kingdom or give me death, man. That's right. That's how we live in here, man. You got that, bro? Go ahead, read that.
Romans chapter 6, verse 16. Know ye not that to whom ye shield Slakia. Know ye not that to whom ye yield yourselves servants to obey, his servants ye are to whom ye obey.
What is it saying? Read it again.
Know ye not that to whom ye yield yourselves servants to obey, his servants ye are to whom ye obey. So Salakia. All right, keep going. Whether of sin unto death or of obedience unto righteousness.
What is it saying? I hope for time's sake. Whoever you yield to is who you serve to. Whoever you fear is who you in service to. Whether it be in sin, if you fear the white man more than God, then guess what? You'll be in sin. Because now you'll lie and say the Jews, I apologize for saying the Jews. I'm going to go take a tour of Israel and speak with the rabbis and educate myself on the hurts of the black community and the Jewish community to be able to come together. You're going to say garbage like that, and you're going to apologize, and you're going to compromise and sin. If you fear the oppressor, if you fear the Lord, then you'll be obedient. And that is the key to justice. Fear of the oppressor is stopping us from getting justice. And until we fear the Lord, we'll continue to be in hell. That's right. Listen, man, y'all tune in tonight to Commander Junior Yohahanna's The Black Watch Radio Show, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. Y'all tune in. With that, I'm going to pass the class over to Precinct Officer 500 Barack.
Security announcements. We the I.S.U.P.K at the 1 West 125th Street out of Harlem, New York, under Commander Junior Yohanna. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They're here to share themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes was a commandment. You can find this in the book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21, and the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 8 through 10. It means 10th in Hebrew, and it's pronounced ma'ashra. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, you give to the treasury department of teacher. Priest fund, free will offer for priests, not mandatory. Whatever amount you would like to give. The upcoming holy convocation. So you want to speak?
The Feast of the Memorial. This is on the back page of the clipboard.
The Feast of SHALAM. You said memorial?
The memorial, the blowing of trumpets, I believe.
Which is the memorial, the blowing of trumpets, the first day of the 7th month. That'll be Thursday, September 17th of 2020. You can find this in Leviticus chapter 23, verse 24 through 25. Remind Aki. Anything else that you want to add on that, sir?
Y'all tune in tonight, Commander Yohanna's radio show. Also, stay in contact with your camp leaders regarding any updates about the Passover. Go ahead, bro.
Remind Akim and our guardian to check on social media such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for I.S.U.P.K events and materials. If your brother wants to be a troop in the school, you should start wearing all black, which includes black boots, black shirts, black pants, black headband, or scarf.